I hated getting water from the well. I hated it. But I needed water, and we only have one well here, so I had to go. Out into the hot, hot noonday sun. It's when I always went. Once, just once, the morning air was so muggy, so stifling. I knew it would only get worse throughout the rest of the day. And I thought maybe, just maybe, I could sneak along with the rest of the women in the morning and avoid the afternoon heat. I hated getting water from the well, and that day I should have just stayed home thirsty. The women were so, well, they hated me. They started whispering to each other about me. They told their children to avoid me. Their children. They told them that I was unworthy. You see, we used to be friends. When we were children, we would come with our mothers almost every day to this well. We would play together, we would laugh, smile, we would live together. But now, well, when my mom, and my dad, none of that matters anymore. They've both been gone for a long time. I've had to be taking care of myself for a long, long time now. And I did that the only way I could. Right or wrong, I was just wanting a different life, thirsting for a better life. But this is my life now. I barely even deserve a cool drink of water, and I certainly can't drink it with any sort of dignity. I have to bear the burden of being called unworthy and bear the burden of the noonday heat. But one day my whole life changed forever. It was another hot, hot day when I got to the well. I was there alone, of course. But then he came. This man, he came out of nowhere, it seemed. He got to the well and wiped his brow as if he had just been on a long journey, and he sat down on the edge of the well, not too far from me. I almost ran the other direction. I thought about running home away from this man, but I was so thirsty. I have to admit, I was pretty afraid. You see, I had learned a long time before that I needed to fear men, especially strange men who I knew didn't belong here in Samaria. This man was obviously a Jew, and Jews hated Samaritans. But there was something different about this man. Something inside me told me I didn't need to fear. So I approached the well hesitantly. It was almost as if I thought if I moved slowly, he wouldn't see me. But it was as I lowered my jug into the well to get water that he looked up at me and smiled. He smiled at me. Nobody had smiled at me in a long, long time. I don't even think I smiled back. I don't think I remembered how to smile back. I continued on with my tasks, but I made them faster. I just wanted to get out of there. This man was unsettling. But before I could leave, before I could get away from him, he spoke to me. This man spoke to me. He asked me for a drink of water. No man ever spoke to me, not in public, not unless he wanted something from me. I reminded him that I was a Samaritan and a woman. He was a Jew. He just kind of smiled at that, and I didn't think he needed to be reminded that he was a Jew. Then he offered me living water, and I knew this guy was crazy. Living water? He said if he gave me this living water, I would never thirst again. I would never have to come back to this horrible well again. And when he promised me that, I knew I wanted this living water more than life itself. So I asked him for it. That's when he hit me with it. Go and call your husband and come back, he said to me. He knew. This guy knew I didn't have a husband. He knew I had a lot of men in my life. I instantly felt a lot of shame. The shame you feel on a noonday walk to the well. All I wanted to do was hide from this man, but he was right there. I couldn't go anywhere. But his eyes weren't shame. It was as if he was speaking into the darkest part of my life, not to condemn it, but to tell me that he sees me, and that he wanted to be with me, to sit together in public under the heat of the noonday sun. With me. It was amazing. And that's when he told me the most amazing truth of all. You see, for ages we have waited for God's chosen one, the Messiah, to come. That's when he asked me if I believed this promise, and I told him yes, with my whole heart. And he leaned in a little closer and said, I, the one who speaks to you, am he. I had no doubt of it. There he was, the Messiah, standing right in front of me, loving me. I couldn't contain myself. I ran into town. I even left my jug back at the well. I ran into town to tell everybody about him, to tell them that I met the Messiah. I told them my story and they listened. They listened to me. And they believed me. I started to believe in myself. I wasn't unworthy. I wasn't unloved. The Savior of the world showed me that. And now I only walk to the well in the noonday heat to find others who were once like me, to tell them not to thirst anymore.